Now, at the time of filming this, it is Friday, January 14th, which means in a couple days, the 16th, 17th, is our 1-year anniversary of living in Hollywood. And I thought we have to have a special video. Today, we're not doing anything like a filming location or a famous grave or anything true crime. Instead, I'm going to do a video on something that I've been wanting to do ever since we moved to California. Well, strike that, reverse it. Pretty much my entire life, and that's to hike to the top of the Hollywood sign. Not looking at the Hollywood sign. I want to be behind it, above it, looking down at it. Today's the day. It's a dream come true. It's an item off the bucket list.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
The Hollywood sign last May. It seemed doomed to decay, like a forgotten movie star. Vandals and the elements had taken their toll. Last winter's rains threatened to do the sign in, but much of the Hollywood landmark stood firm as it had for 55 years. It was originally built as a gimmick to promote home sites in the area. Many considered it then a neighborhood eyesore. They even bickered at City Hall over whether to tear it down. But then as the years went by, people began to love the Hollywood sign. Gradually it came to symbolize the showbiz that went on in the community below it. And no one would ever dream of tearing it down or even letting it die a slow death. That's why the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce launched a fundraising drive in May to save the sign. Over the summer, the dilapidated letters were torn down and sold to pay for new letters. Steel girders were helicoptered in to form the frame backing for the letters. Rebuilding the world's largest sign wasn't cheap. It cost $250,000. But the chamber raised every penny from private contributions. This morning, the Hollywood sign was put to one of the toughest tests ever. It's only 100 feet over there, but after all the trouble and all the expense, you can't even see it. So we had to hike to the sign for a close look at it. That was the only way to see it in this weather.
What we had to do was build 9 4-story high buildings on the side of a mountain. This thing is a football field and a half long. It's undoubtedly the world's largest sign, and we build it to last literally forever. As long as Mount Lee is going to be here, the sign is going to be here. And of course, the sentimental value you really can't put on that. It's our most famous landmark, and it's been here for 55 years, and Hollywood really wouldn't be the same without it. And of course, the other thing that was really more important to us than probably anything was trying to pull the community together, which is probably, one of the toughest things to do in Hollywood, to get them to work on one project that means an awful lot, not locally, but internationally.
The Hollywood sign will now withstand almost anything. That forgotten movie star has made her comeback.
All right, we're finally here, Brush Canyon Trailhead, for our walk, or a hike, exercise, up to the Hollywood sign. And here's the trailhead marker, Brush Canyon Trailhead. And as you can see, we have a bit of a hike ahead of us. It says be prepared, hike with plenty of water. We got the Bronson Caves, Mulholland Trail, 2 different trails for the Hollywood sign, Mount Hollywood Drive and Griffith Observatory. Now, if we look at the map right over here, it says you are here, which is very helpful. And we're going to be taking this trail right here and then zigzagging all the way to the Hollywood sign. Our plan is to get to the very top of it and look down across the letters. Now, basically, we got 2 miles of hiking, almost 2 miles of hiking. Now, it should be noted, if you do come here to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, and you want to get up close to the Hollywood sign, you really can't drive to it. You have to make the hike. You have to earn it. And we've been living here for an entire year, like I said, coming up on the anniversary, and still haven't done it. Something I've been wanting to do my entire life, and to be honest, don't really know why it's taken this long to make this hike. Now, because of Jessica's health conditions, she's sitting this one out. Now I get a lot of messages from people saying, hey, where's Jessica? Is she all right? You guys still together? Yes, we're still together. We're married. She has health conditions. So when we do things like this, I kind of do it by myself. Now I know this is a 2-mile hike, and I promise you, I'm not going to subject you to nothing but hiking and just looking at the trail and talking your ear off. Of course, I'll stop at a few different places, show you some of the scenery, because I do love the scenery here in California. But I'm also going to tell you a few different stories as to why we ultimately chose to move to California and some things we learned. Now, if you look closely, just beyond those trees, peeking out over top of the crest there at the top of the mountain is the tower right above the Hollywood sign. That's where we're heading. Now, how easy would it be if we could just walk across the ravine up to the tower itself? But nope, gotta stick to the trail, 2 miles. I'm honestly pretty much out of breath right now. I just got started. Well, to be fair, to be honest, the first part of this trail is nothing but an incline. That mixed with the fact that I'm carrying a camera and a gimbal, it comes close to 10 pounds. Really putting my lungs and my arms and my body, my legs through a workout. So I apologize if from here on out I get a little winded, but exercise is good. We can always do a little bit more. You're never in enough shape. Now, some of you may or may not realize this, but before Jessica and I moved to Los Angeles, California, we were living in Orlando, Florida with Jessica's parents. They were helping us get on our feet as a newly married couple and helping us try to figure out where we wanted to be in the world. And then the pandemic happened, and we all know what came with that. That mixed with one of Jessica's friends passing away, Jessica and I found ourselves thinking that, worst comes to worst, God forbid, if either Jessica or I passed away, if we died, is Orlando, Florida where we wanted it to be? And the answer is no. It was a quick no. So then we got to think, thinking about the future of the channel, where could we go? Where could we be that we wanted to just live and create content? And a year prior to that, I took Jessica out to Los Angeles and we stayed with some friends, the Massaris, John and Amy Massari. John is the guy who wrote the music, the score for Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And we loved it out here. That mixed with the history, the nice weather, we made the jump. And on January 1st of 2021, we packed everything we owned and we hit the road. We took like almost 3 weeks of a cross-country road trip, filming along the way. And then we got here this weekend. Today's the 14th at the time of filming this. And I think it was the 16th is whenever we actually rolled into town. We've been living here for an entire year ever since then. Man, what a hike, not for the faint of heart. I was gonna stop right there and show you the view, and then I realized that further up the trail, there's a bit of a scenic view, so that's where we're heading. So you kind of have to put up with me huffing and puffing just a little bit longer. Now, if you've been following our channel for over a year, you would have seen a big difference, or the trail, the path that we've taken to get here. And we're still moving forward. We got a lot of things planned. Man, this is beautiful. Oh my God, wait till you see this. This is the first time seeing this view. It doesn't surprise me how beautiful it is, but you see that winding hiking trail right there? That's what we just came up. Steady incline. Well worth it. Just look at that. Look how beautiful that is. So why hike up to the top of the Hollywood sign? There are a lot of places down in Hollywood where you can stand and get your picture taken with the Hollywood sign behind you. And you can get rather close to it, but you can't get too close. It is, if I'm not mistaken, it is a historic landmark now at this point. It's the most popular sign in the world. But you can't get close to it anymore. If you do, they have motion sensors. And then a helicopter will come flying out saying, hey, get gone. And if you don't, probably get arrested.
We begin with breaking news. A man has climbed the Hollywood sign. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. We've seen him waving a white flag that says, I'm back. There it is. Tim Lynn is overhead in Sky 5 with these live pictures. Tim.
Well, we were out covering the Trump rally down at the Kimmel show, but right now we have a guy named Vitali up here on the D of Hollywood sign up on Mount Lee. He's got a sign up saying, I'm back. Apparently has a YouTube channel that has 1 billion followers.
Vitaly Zadovoreski scaled the 45-foot letter D of the Hollywood sign.
Back to our breaking news. A man believed to be a YouTube prankster has climbed the Hollywood sign.
Tim Lynn monitoring the situation overhead in Sky 5. Tim.
Well, as you can see, LAPD Air 16 just arrived on scene here. They're keeping an eye on him. He just climbed down behind the D of the Hollywood sign. You can see him right there on the ladder. They've already directed ground units to come up here as well with park police.
Well, Pat and Paul, he's on the D from the Hollywood sign, and he had a flag, like you said earlier on, says, I'm back. I don't know where he was before, but apparently he is back. LAPD's here as well. You can see one of their helicopters right overhead. They're using their loudspeaker right now to tell this person to get off of the sign. Also, we know that they have ground units en route. They want to get this guy into custody. He is up here on the sign. It is trespassing. Very unusual sight for sure. He had that flag earlier on. Don't know if we have some tape, but he was waving it around. Very clearly said, I'm back.
It may all be a stunt, a man climbing the Hollywood sign. Sky 9 shows him waving a flag that says, I'm back, which then flies away. You can see him using his phone like he's recording himself.
LAPD choppers, 5 News choppers. What is going on right now? This is insane.
He then climbs down in an attempt to grab his flag, but then climbs right back up.
Prankster Vitaly ZDTV, as he is known, came down on his own and back apparently into another familiar spot. Police custody.
This guy climbing up on the Hollywood sign. It's very well protected. Cameras all the way around it. So they knew as soon as he cleared the fence that somebody was there, and LAPD was on it pretty quick. But as you can see right there, walking down the hill, the long walk down.
Yeah, Tim, he climbed the letter D. You can fill in the blank with your own adjective. I understand there were drones in the area that may have been filming this escapade. Do you see any of them? And if so, that's got to be making the police a little angry. As a YouTube prankster, moments ago, climbed to the top of the Hollywood sign. He is now standing in handcuffs. He is in custody under arrest. Our coverage continues on the other side.
Now, a few people have traversed the hillside and have changed the letters in the past.
In Hollywood, a shocking sight. Overnight, the iconic 45-foot tall Hollywood sign altered to read Hollyweed.
It makes you wonder, first of all, how they did it.
Marijuana enthusiasts pulling the same prank on New Year's Day in 1976.
Well, I kind of like the traditional sign, but, you know, it's just kind of cool being here at the moment.
Keep walking over to the edge so I can see the views. Jessica hates it when I do this, getting so close. That's something else, man, something else. Man, pretty freaking wild. So much history. Now, if you look just above the W, there's a little lookout point up there. That's where we ultimately want to be. But I also wanted to come down here and check out this shot as well. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, like I said, I'm going to save the history lesson for a different time, but I will give you one piece of trivia that has a very dark and spooky nature to it. Bela Lugosi, the guy who played Dracula in 1932, Todd Browning's movie Dracula. Everybody knows him, Bela Lugosi. Every day he would take his dogs and he would walk up the trail behind his house to an overlook and see the Hollywood sign. I can only guess that it's probably this overlook right here, the biggest one. We're going to talk about that in a lot more detail in a future video. Pretty wild. I love living here. And we started our journey at the base of the trail, way down there. Finally, we're at the top. It's got a beautiful, beautiful view of Burbank and beyond, beyond, beyond. All right, let's see here. That giant patch of land right there is Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Hollywood Hills. There's IKEA way off in the distance, as well as downtown Burbank. But if we turn the camera over this way, that's Walt Disney Studios right there. And then that building, you can't see it from here, but I can see it. But when you drive by it on the highway, it says animation. That was the perfect opportunity to catch my breath. Got some of my wind back. Got a little bit further to go, and I swear to God, it feels like it just keeps getting steeper and steeper. One of my personal journeys is to hit pretty much every historical spot here in Los Angeles and Hollywood. And just take in these views, man. Well, there's a better shot of Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Hollywood Hills. Just did a video there the other day. Lemmy's buried there, Dio, Carrie Fisher from Star Wars, Marty Feldman, John Ritter, Brittany Murphy, Betty Davis, Naya Rivera, and the list goes on and on. What's really crazy to think about, there's a very famous suicide that happened. Peg Entwistle jumped from the H in the Hollywood sign, committed suicide. Now I know that this is a service road, but this is pretty much the only way to get to the top of the hill. I wonder if she drove or if she walked. You could pretty much only imagine that back then you could drive up here. Because I'm telling you what, look at this. Not even like 5 feet over here is the edge of the mountain, and there's like nothing there. Nothing. Here, I'll show you. I've been walking this road and there's no guardrail. Can you imagine if there was an earthquake or erosion or something? Right over the side. Yeah. And right over here, there's a marker. I wasn't expecting this, but it doesn't surprise me to see what it says. Oh man. I'm going to catch my breath too. Cahuenga Peak was added to Griffith Park with the help and support of donors worldwide. Oh, this is kind of cool. Let's see, City of Los Angeles, the Tiffany & Company Foundation, Eileen Getty, Hugh Hefner, State of California. And this is a thank you to everything. Get closer, it says Lucasfilm Foundation, Mountains Recreation, Steven Spielberg. Man, there's a couple really freaking awesome names on here. Oh, and check this out. Right up here, you see all that? Look, there's the Hollywood sign. Right there. Man, that's cool. History, my friend, history. Now it looks like the trail goes on even further and further. We're not doing that today. There's the Wisdom Tree, which is also on my list of places to visit. I'm gonna save that for another one. Of course, we're gonna be going further up the road. But I noticed walking up there, there's a little gate here with some steps that go down. I'm gonna look over top, because this is something else. This is what I came here for. Here, let's look down. That's the start of the back of the Hollywood sign. The H and the O. If I turn the camera back over this way, there's the Hollywood Reservoir. Man, beautiful, so cool. Just a little bit further. I'm just gonna go ahead and follow this fence because there's the radio tower. Look how massive that thing is. This is definitely not an everyday hike, I can promise you that. But if we ever had friends or family coming out to visit, I'm like, listen, we gotta hike up to the Hollywood sign. Then afterwards they're gonna hate me. It kind of reminds me of Area 51, doesn't it? It has a very Area 51 feel up here. Now, just like the people who are drone lovers, there's gonna be somebody that says, oh man, you should have hopped the fence. Heckins, no. No trespassing. City of Los Angeles. And again, cameras everywhere. Let's just be thankful that we can get this close. And there it is. As close as we're gonna get to the sign. It's actually a lot closer than I thought. Wow. All right, now let's see if we can point out a few different landmarks. Straight ahead, that is Griffith Observatory. That trail right there is the trail where we started. And if we come over this way, you see that dirt patch of land? That's where we stopped in this video and looked up at the Hollywood sign. And if we come over this way, here's Hollywood down there. I don't know if you can see this. I can see it with my own two eyes, the naked eye. That's the Capitol Records building. There's the Hollywood Reservoir. And the ocean is way, way over there. And that's pretty much it. Living in Hollywood for one whole year. And to celebrate it, hiked to the top of the Hollywood sign. It's a bit of a treacherous hike. I don't recommend it for everybody. If you do, bring tons of water and plan all day. I had no idea that this was going to take all day. I actually had other things planned for this video for like a 1-year anniversary. But today, it's pretty much all about this, a milestone. Standing at the top of the world, well, top of Hollywood, top of Los Angeles.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.